Mr. Trump, I've known you for 30 years. You may be a slick salesman who fooled many people in this country, but you didn't fool me and you didn't fool New Yorkers.
That's New York's Democratic Governor Andrew Cuomo upping the ante with his feud with President Trump, calling the president, quote, un-American. We're back with our A-team, Noah Rothman, Mark Lauder, and Marianne Marsh. Mark, let me start with you. This whole it stems from the governor saying that America has never really been that great. He's been trying to get out of that comment.
I mean, they are so filled with Trump derangement syndrome that their answer is America's not great, the president's not American, and socialism is the answer. And it just does not resonate. The governor can continue to try to get himself out of this, and he just continues to step right into it.
Is it career threatening? I said I wasn't going to use this, but I am. The president's tweet on Cuomo saying this: when a politician admits that we're not going to make America great again, there doesn't seem to be much reason to ever vote for him, he writes. This could be a career-threatening statement by Cuomo, with many wanting him to resign. He will get higher ratings than his brother Chris, writes the president. I mean, this doesn't go away for him, Marianne.
Does Andrew Cuomo get reelected as governor of New York?
Well,
sure. Okay, does he go further? I think there were always questions about that. The point here is Andrew Cuomo had a point that he didn't make well, made it worse by his response, and continues, which was he could have said, America is not great when it uses race to divide us, not unite us. Cruelly rips kids away from their parents and incarcerates them. That is un-American. Or even talked about the fact that America...
He didn't say un-American. He said America was never really that great, was his words, right?
I understand that. But he also could have, when he was signing a bill about sex trafficking, say that America isn't great when it does it. He did not say that.
Well, he also shot back. He shot back verbally, which we just heard yesterday, right? But he also shot back in the form of a tweet. Cuomo said this: the expression I used the other day was inartful. He wrote, of course America is great, and of course America has always been great. No questions that. When Trump started using the quote, make America great, what he believes establishes American greatness is not greatness at all. Does that solve the problem that Cuomo faces right now?
No, I don't think so. I think he stepped into a Kingsley gap. He said something that is actually a rather developed articulation of a progressive worldview. Cynthia Nixon, his Democratic opponent, and Marianne just now articulated what is, I think, the liberal belief, which is that he was trying to sound like a progressive. He just didn't sound as adroitly progressive as most would when they say that America has never been great. They mean, as Andrew Cuomo later expressed in that very same quote, that when it discriminates, when mankind discriminates, when mankind oppresses, when mankind engages in typical behaviors of an imperfect creature, then America is not great. That is a misunderstanding of what America is and the greatness that is established in the Constitution and its founding.
Are you saying we can never be better?
No, precisely the opposite. I am saying that the pursuit of a more perfect union means perfection is an ideal that will never be achieved, and that is the progressive mistake.
No, that's the American view, which is we can always be better, and we have the freedom of speech to point out when we're not, and have our disagreements about how to tackle those things. But dividing this country on race, or tearing kids away from their parents, or any of these other things, doesn't make the country great. That's sorrowful.
Absolutely, and I think you've established why America is great, and saying precisely those things and having no fear of any sort of repercussions from the state.
Rasmussen was out this morning with a poll. 2/3 of Americans disagree with Governor Cuomo's comment that America has never been great.
All right, so let's leave that there. A few minutes ago, you were all sitting here and we were talking about John Brennan. His security clearance was revoked by the president. Well, the president has been tweeting the last few minutes. I feel like I'm reading a lot of tweets here, but that does drive the news a bit these days. And here's what the president just wrote. I hope John Brennan, the worst CIA director in our country's history, brings a lawsuit. It will then be very easy to get all of his records, texts, emails, and documents to show not only the poor job he did, but how he was involved with the Mueller-rigged witch hunt. He won't sue, obviously responding to John Brennan suggesting he was going to take legal action. He further wrote, everybody wants to keep their security clearance. It's worth great prestige and big dollars, even board seats, and that is why certain people are coming forward to protect Brennan. It certainly isn't because of the good job he did. He is a political hack, wrote the president just a few moments ago. Noah?
Well, he's certainly political, and my friend and colleague Bloomberg's Eli Lake was on Fox and Friends this morning talking about how the president clearly wants to elevate John Brennan as a foil, far from stripping away his freedom to speak. He is saying, I want you to speak. I want you to be out there. And there's Democrats and progressives should perform an audit as to why the president would think he's in an advantageous position vis-a-vis Mr. Brennan. His conduct as CIA director is a little checkered. He ordered some surveillance on members of Congress, for example, and members of Congress are loath to defend that sort of behavior. So clearly the president thinks John Brennan is valuable to him as an alternative to what Donald Trump is offering. Democrats should think very closely about what that means.
All right, Marianne, what about
I think
that?
closely about the fact that Donald Trump yanked his security clearance, not for job performance, which he's now trying to do after the fact, but for purely political reasons. And everyone on that list is either a Democrat or is on the Mueller investigation. There's no job performance issue here. This is Donald Trump trying to save his skin as this investigation gets closer and closer to him. That's what this
Mark,
is really
last
about,
word,
and
we've
that's
got
a
to leave
problem.
it there.
Security clearances are not a right. They are a privilege, and the president has the right to protect our national security.
All right, we will leave it there with our A-team. Thank you very much to all three of you. All right, Twitter founder and CEO Jack Dorsey making a pretty surprising admission while speaking